No, io sto mettendo ma c'è spita. Ignora, muda di mani, ya mo on. Yeah. Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, okay. So, ini kita. Kita. Oh, yeah,
Can you tell us about the music?
Sure. It's called The Queen of the Night Aria, and it's from the opera The Magic Flute. Because of its high notes, it only by sung by the most skilled sopranos. That's right. Ari. But once by faster music. One time, Mozart started playing the piano when he was only 3 years old. Now let's listen to the Queen of the Night Aria, performed by the English soprano and the Sharp Family Orchestra.
Hello. Morning. So I can't hear
Talking
you.
without my mic on, sorry.
That's all
How's
right.
everything going? Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay.
I emailed Dr. Witmer-Kline. She did say she was coming, so
Okay.
yeah. Um, oh my God. Do you hear anything in the background that's not my voice?
I do not.
Okay, good. Oh,
If you hear anything in the background for me, I have a construction project going on at my house, so if there's drilling and things going on, but I shut the door. Well, my cat opened the door, but I'll shut the doors. My cat likes to see what's going on, so he opens up everything. And he can open doors.
yeah, I'm watching my niece, so her show is going on in the background. She might try to get in the camera. So, mm.
So how's everything going with you this semester? Is everything good?
Yeah, I'm just sounding really weird right now because my
Okay.
throat is sore.
Oh,
This
okay.
is the day it decides to do it. But yeah, just doing college applications is a lot, especially with early action deadlines coming up and so many supplementals to write. But
Mhm. Well, come see me on my office hours if you need a hand with that. That's kind of what I do.
okay, oh well.
Here, just a sec. I got stuff in the background going on here. Susie, in or out? Come on. You coming in or out? I also have a little dog, and there's a lot going on, so she wants to watch what's going on, and she wants to be with me at the same time. So we'll see what she does. She might bark in a second.
Uh,
So I put in an example of the Honors in Action project from PTK.
um, so were these like what they wrote for the hallmarks or just in general for them?
That is a Hallmark entry that's turned
Okay.
into yeah, that's a Hallmark entry.
Okay. And the questions stay the same every year? Or
No, they change the projects change every year, so do their questions. We're doing how perspective shapes stories.
okay.
And we altered our research question a little bit so that it lined up with the power of story. So,
Oh,
the research question, let's see, is how the stories, how personal narratives, the stories we tell ourselves shape our experience at community college for good and for bad.
yeah. Good morning, Dr. Whitmer.
Oh, good
Is Charlie?
morning.
How
Hi,
are
Robin.
you?
I'm
How
good. Hi, Alicia. How are you?
doing well? How is Charlie joining us too, Faith?
Unfortunately, Charlie has a track meet that he's traveling to, so
Oh,
I'm
okay.
taking over HIA and Will be taking over college project. But he said if I had questions, I could text him.
Right. Is Cyrene joining us?
Cyrene is supposed to join us.
Okay. So we'll give her another minute and then we'll get started. So just a sec.
Okay.
So, Faith, what is your major? What are you studying here at HCC?
Um, I'm studying arts and sciences, and I hopefully want to go into public relations and advertising at my 4 year. Yeah.
Nice. Nice. Very good. Very good. That'll fit in really, really well.
Thank you.
It's wonderful when we can incorporate the creative things into our,
Yeah.
things we love into our livelihoods as well.
Yeah. Um. Oh, Cyrene just. I'll admit her. Bye.
So this is a research question. Has everybody got a copy of the notes from last week? Faith, you might want to open these up.
Okay.
Okay, it kind of will bring you up to speed. So Robin, thank you for joining us today. Our Honors in Action project is part of our required services for Phi Theta Kappa, where students undertake to study a theme-based project of their choosing, and the theme is the power of storytelling. So the reason we've talked to you is because we are asking a question on how can alternative therapies help change internal narratives for community college students. So Charlie probably briefed you on this a little bit. You've been working with the students so far. So we said, hey, we probably could use a psychologist or on this, or a psych professor and on this. So first we contacted Nina, and she's the wrong kind of psych professor. So she's like, no, talk to Robin.
Yes, she is.
So
I think I'm the only clinician in our department. I think Professor Cade has some. I just retired my license, but I'm not sure she was licensed, but she definitely has some social work background. So
Mhm.
yeah, I think we're the only two clinicians. So
Mhm.
Can everyone see my screen?
I just see it says Phi Theta Kappa has started screen sharing, but it's just blank other than
Yeah, it's
that.
blank.
Okay.
Oh no.
Okay, what are you sharing, Faith?
I was sharing the meeting notes from last week.
Okay. I can share those if you need help. So if
I'm
you give
so
me
sorry. My
permission to
computer
share.
is freezing.
Worries.
This
It's
is
Okay.
okay,
great.
no worries.
If you allow me to share or make me a co-host, I can share the screen.
Um, all right, I'm so sorry. My screen is black now. Um,
Everyone else, can you click on the 1017 HIA? You didn't. It says you declined the request, Faith, to have multiple
um,
sharing.
oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I'm having technology issues.
Okay, well, let's go over the PTK 1017 HIA meeting is in the chat, so if people can take a look at that. We are we're kind of interested, Robin, in finding out resources for alternative therapies.
Mm-hmm.
So Cyrene, Faith, you can chip in if you want to. What we're looking at to speak to, and if we can quote you, would that be all right if we took minutes?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right, so Faith, don't panic. This is okay. This technology stuff happens.
I can take notes on my
Okay.
doc, but
Okay. So, so we're calling Robin here. What are some questions that you might have for her. We're looking at, as we talked about, how our internal narrative can shape themes. And Robin, can you talk about how alternative therapies can help people change sort of
Absolutely.
their internal narratives?
Yes, absolutely. And actually, I prepared some things for you that I can email all of you later. The first one is like common myths of counseling. So I think we have to define that first, so do we know what the narrative is?
Sure.
What is the common narrative that people have? So some of the common myths that we might have is you have to have a mental illness to go to counseling. And then we put the fact below that. Another myth is people will accuse or assume there's something wrong with you if you seek counseling. And we have a fact below that. Men aren't in touch with their feelings and will not benefit from counseling. We have a fact below that. Seeking counseling is a sign of weakness, and we have a fact below that. So it just continues to go down the list. I also have something I can email you, which are the most common disorders on college campuses to help normalize for students. The top one is 58% in anxiety, 45% with relationship and family concerns, and then on down the list. And then I also made a list that I'm going to email you as well, which is some alternative therapies. So I didn't know if you wanted to tell me your ideas first, or if you just want me to run through some ideas, and I'm certainly going to send the list to you. So that might help to generate some ideas, or if there's a specific type of alternative therapy that you're interested in, then I can try to talk to you about that.
Oh, I do have a few questions prepared.
Sure, absolutely.
So to go on the technical route of research, what would be the best database for us to look at our sources from?
Well, the American Psychological Association is going to have a lot of research. World Health Organization probably has a lot of research as well. Actually, I just say just simply do a search and see what comes up. I don't know if that there's a best out there, but just do your search. If you really want to get in the pulse of things that are HCC, which I think would make it more pertinent, is maybe send out a survey to students, or like just like you did on Friday, have a table set up and maybe some kind of incentive, like if they fill out a survey, they get a kind bar or something like that. I think surveys are great ways, especially when we're interested in touching the HCC students, to find out from them. So I don't know if that answers your question or not. Hey.
It does. What would you think remains undiscovered about this topic? Something that's not talked about when it comes to alternative therapies and internal narratives.
Well, I think that they're not talked about. Obviously, when I'm conducting my lessons for my students, I bring them up because actually I did my dissertation on poetry therapy. And with that, in my research, I discovered all kinds of other types of like creative arts therapy, the art therapy, which can include paints and drawings and collages and sculptures and clays and all that. But we also have dance and movement therapy. In fact, a student of mine last semester had met with me because she's actually pursuing her master's degree in dance therapy. She wants to help veterans. Drumming is another creative arts therapy that we can do. So music, art, poetry. What else is there? Let me see, drama therapy. So we can write our own plays, or just narrative bibliotherapy. We can use, like you said, since we're talking about stories, we can write our own story or write our own play, or use a pre-written story and use that as healing. When I was working with patients that had multiple personality disorder, what we now call dissociative identity disorder, there was a little booklet of a story of a girl that went on a trip, and it was really the manifest content was the story, but the latent content, the hidden meaning was really that she had multiple personality and how all this was integrated. So stories can really pull that together. I always tell my students, you know, sometimes we can't put into words what we're feeling, but then we'll hear a favorite song or we'll read a book and say, yes, they get me. That is what I am feeling, or that's what's inside my head. And that is a very powerful tool. So those are just a few of the items that you could do.
Okay. Thank you so much for answering that
Mhm.
question.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I will let you go on to the points that you have. That's the end of my question.
Okay.
You mean me
Uh,
or Dr.
so,
Klein?
Dr. Klein, I thought she had points that she already had.
Oh, I have some, I made up a PTK file and, oh, so do you want me to, if you want me to go over it, I can read you my list of alternative therapies. Maybe there's something that you'd like to see expanded on in that.
I mean, me personally, I was talking with others about martial arts or just in general physical activity and moving around.
Okay.
Maybe that's the type of therapy.
Okay. Yeah, I hadn't actually seen or heard of that, but I'm sure that can be incorporated. So that would probably be incorporated into the dance slash movement type of therapy. So martial arts is wonderful because it really combines the mind and body, and you have to have a lot of mind control and what's the word? You know, self-control, you know, abstinence and in just reacting. I think the mantra with that is that you're never supposed to use it. You're only supposed to use it in self-defense. You're never supposed to use it for offense. So are you into the martial arts or do you participate?
I went to Taekwondo session once just for the purpose of losing weight, but I
Mhm.
feel like getting up and moving around, especially when you're not used to, can help relieve stress. The same way there's a reason why rage room exists when people are upset and they go and smash things. I feel like that can be a sort of therapy that people practice on their day-to-day
Mhm.
lives without even realizing it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Movement, you know, especially Faith, since you said that, it's like, I'll give you another statistic that trauma is stored at a deeper cellular level in the brain than other memories. And so, and also is stored in our muscles. So being able to incorporate dance or movement, or like you're saying, like a rage therapy, that is going to help reduce the cortisol that is stress related that can lead to a lot of damaging effects physically, and eventually heart attacks, et cetera, like that. It burns that up when we move. That's why doctors recommend exercise. So yes, so move and with movement therapy or dance therapy, there's no rights or wrongs. You just move to the music, or you just move to express yourself. You know, like drumming, they can do that in the background and you just move to the drum. So there's a lot of exciting things that you could probably incorporate with that, but that's great.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Um, Does anyone have any other type of therapies they were interested? I know we were talking about art already. In fact, we had an idea that perhaps regardless of what the research shows, maybe we also use the therapy dogs that they usually bring in for finals week. Animal
Oh,
therapy.
yes, animal assisted therapy. There is so much research on that. That is wonderful. Of course, you know, you have your animal service dogs, which is another type, and then you have your emotional support animals, your animal assisted therapy. Absolutely. That actually, there was a woman that used to teach here at HCC, I believe. Oh gosh, what was her name? But her dog was named Hershey. It was a poodle, and Maris. She had a kind of a different name. Maris Palmer or something, I believe is her name.
Marlis.
Marlis, that's it.
Yes.
That's it. And I believe she's lives at Quince. No, Meadow Haven. I think she lives in Meadow Haven, one of the cottages. And when my grandmother was there, she would bring in her dog, and the dog was a therapy dog, but she would also do little tricks and entertain the people. But yes, there's all kinds, like if you do horses, it's hippotherapy. And that's used a lot of times with girls that have anorexia, because being on a horse emulates the natural gait of a human, and horses are very intuitive, much like dogs. Dogs and cats, in that we have a dog cat part of our brain. So this part is called the human brain, the midbrain is called the dog cat brain, and the back part of our brain is called the reptile brain. These are in order. So we put dogs and cats under fMRIs and looked at their brains, and the part that expresses love lights up just like a human. So your dog and cats love you. And actually, research has shown that dogs can read human emotions better than people. So they're excellent when you bring them on campus. They just want to be loved and they light up, and that is like one of the best therapies. So using cats, dogs, the petting motion, the purring, the hertz of a cat's purr, even fish. So if you ever wondered why doctors' offices have fish, it's because of the moving back and forth, the slow moving back and forth of the fish as you're sitting there anxiously waiting for your appointment, and your eyes are following the fish back and forth, is actually emulating EMDR, eye movement desensitization reprocessing, which is the same thing that happens when you read a book. When you read a book and your eyes are going back and forth, you get calmer, you get more relaxed. It's great therapy. So this is why doctor's office use fish tanks, because research shows it lowers blood pressure. It produces calm. So when they go into that appointment, they're not so stressed. Plus they're pretty, so great. Yeah. Yeah. Any of that. Animals are great.
I did, as the English professor, I did make some notes on reading therapy because, yeah, I have all sorts of ideas for now silent book club or something like that, because we're thinking of possibly, well, we're definitely going to research and go with what the research says, which is part of which is part of the whole purpose of the honors in action. But yeah, we can, now that's going to help us narrow some of our therapies down. So choose some of these therapies and go deeper into research. We have the students have already compiled their general sources, and then we have to narrow down to 5, but it sounds like we can do some general sources on self-narrative and maybe some more research on alternative therapies, be it dance, guys, or reading, or any of these things. Our goal is an action that comes out of the research as well. So maybe executing a project, something like Faith says, like martial arts or a dance session, a silent book club, a session with therapy animals or kittens or something like that during we were thinking maybe during finals week, because we have
Yes.
a limited time frame, that it could possibly help alleviate some stress before finals week.
I'll tell you, you just remind me of something else that some colleges do during finals week. And that is, they call it dog yoga. So you bring your dog along, and you of course bring someone in that does this. They also did it with goats, little baby goats, but you bring your dog along and you use your dog as part of the yoga, like when your different stances and stuff. So it had to be a little dog. But yeah, there's all kinds of things that you can do, which is wonderful. But animals are always a great way.
Thank you so much for sharing.
You're so welcome.
So, apologies, I'll just bring it up on my phone. So, before I move on, do you have anything else you would like to add from your end, what you brought?
Over my end?
Yeah.
No, I think that what I said, I still can send you this information, and you can pick and choose or throw it out if you want, but I'll give you some things that I prepared so that for your project, if you're doing any posters or you just have any other information, it can help you. But it sounds like you guys are on a, great thing. I myself like submitting poetry to Hedge Apple. So, if you're doing any storytelling and stuff like that, you can also incorporate the students by encouraging them to submit to Hedge Apple. I think that's a great way of as well, because when you tell your story over and over, you're actually reducing your trauma. You're creating a desensitization. It's like we don't ever forget, but what we do is we remove the reactivity, so we're not as sensitive. So I'm really a big proponent of the bibliotherapies, the narrative therapies. And I think whatever you come up with will be great. And I think this is wonderful. I want to applaud you all for taking this initiative and doing this, because it's so needed. And the awareness, which I talked about earlier, when we think about therapies, we don't think about the alternative ones. And so people say, well, I don't fit into that little pigeonhole. But when you educate and you expand and you show that, hey, there's something for everyone, then that certainly opens up that opportunity, and more people could jump on board. So I think y'all are doing a great job with PTK.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
And to go back,
I have a question.
sure.
Sorry to interrupt, Faith. Did you need to go
yeah.
ahead?
You can go. I'll ask her after.
Okay. Before it looked like there was a little hole. What are some of the common internal narratives that college students struggle with, would you say?
Well, and again, it depends on culture. For example, like with the Latin and Hispanic cultures that are very machismo, therapy is, taboo. We don't air our dirty laundry. So when I would have a patient or a client that was of a different culture, we have to identify what's their language regarding therapy in that culture. So when I was working with the Latin and Hispanic cultures, I wouldn't use the word depression. So I made sure that I would change that to stress, and that was okay. So if they would come in, I'd say, are you feeling stressed today? Yes. Would you like some medication to maybe help with that stress? Yes. So we knew subliminally what we were both talking about, but just changing some of the language because of the stigmas can make all the difference in crossing some of those barriers. So I think we have to find out, when you're talking about those internal narratives, what is that particular culture saying? I think with the American culture, it's becoming more and more acceptable, but we still have a ways to go because there's still some negativity out there. And I think it just starts there first with normalizing. So when I'm teaching my abnormal class for each of my diagnoses that I'm presenting, I first pop on the screen pictures of famous people, usually celebrities, that have that particular diagnosis. And so when people are able to see, oh, it's not confined or issue, it's not confined to a certain socioeconomic status. It's not confined to a certain gender, that this permeates issues, stress, life, permeates everyone, no matter how much money or lack of money you have, or how much fame or lack of fame that you have, or how many friends or lack of friends that you have. So I just try to normalize it. And that's one way that I start with that internal dialogue, because when one of the students sees somebody on the board that maybe they would normally have raised their hand, but they're like, tell me about that person. So it just opens up a dialogue. So when they ask a question, then I can further see what might be some of the questions that they have, what might be some of the internal dialogues that they have, and just to normalize that it's, can affect anybody at any time.
Thank you. Sorry,
Yeah.
Faith, I didn't mean to talk over you there.
You're all right. And to go back to your point about maybe surveys being a good source of information, what types of questions would you ask that invoke students to become more personal within their answers without like going over a line.
Well, I might ask, what have you heard about therapy before, or what has been your experience with therapy before? Because I think a lot of people have tried therapy before that maybe won't say. Maybe they had a bad experience. And, I try to encourage people that just because you had a bad fit doesn't mean it's a bad thing. And it's just like, we're not going to mesh with everybody that we meet. Why would we expect that maybe the first time that we see somebody that we're going to meet with them, that we're going to mesh with them? So I would maybe ask if they had any kind of, anonymously, if they had any kind of therapy or treatment or counseling experiences before. I'd ask what they want or what they would like to get out of therapy. So when a person would come in to see me for the first time, I would say, I'm not a cookie cutter therapist. One size does not fit all. I said, so you need to tell me what you need. Are you going to be more cognitive where you want like homework assignments? Are you going to be more Rogerian where you just want me to be quiet and listen because no one else in your life listens to you? Do you want me to be more psychoeducational where I'm just presenting research? Or do you want me to be more biomedical where you want me to talk about medicines? So I think I would want to know what has been your experience. My question would be, what has been your experience in the past that maybe has led to this internal dialogue that might not be the most welcoming? Or what have you heard that might have, led you into thinking a certain way? So I think those are the two most important, because that is what is controlling our thought processes. And that is going to control our emotions and behaviors. And when I teach, I tell my students, I put up a triangle like this, and I say, at each point of these triangles, we're made up of emotions, behaviors, and thoughts. So the hardest one to change is the emotions. So we don't want to start there. The thoughts would be the next, but not that it's easy, but the first is the behaviors. So, and I use the expression like, what's Nike's slogan? Nike's slogan is just do it. So the first behavioral change we want to make is the action of just inquiry, asking questions, finding out. Then when that information, that can change our thoughts, that I no longer have these negative stereotypes, or at least I'm going to be open to, some external dialogue or internal dialogue, and open to, looking at some choices. And then finally, that's where the emotions change. So if I can change those two, then the emotions change. So I think those questions would be important.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I hope that answered your question. Sometimes I go off on tangents because I'm trying to answer it holistically so that it makes
No
sense.
problem. I got actually a good amount of questions. And to go back on when you said anonymous, I do feel like that would be the best way to give it because it's such a personal question.
Mhm.
And I believe perhaps we could do it online. I feel like that's the best way to make it anonymous.
Mhm.
Um,
You could even ask professors if they would pass this out, on paper, and no one would put their name on it, and that everybody do it, and then they just all collect it, and no one's going to know who, and then professor can give it. So that could be another, because sometimes students aren't reading their emails or checking their emails, unfortunately, to participate in things like this. But you certainly, could do it both ways.
Pyle set up a survey for us too, remember, Faith? So Carly came to our meetings earlier, remember?
yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, they want to be in charge of a survey if it goes out on campus, she told us. So, as I recall. So that'll help.
okay. And for the I know we only have 5 sources to submit for our final hallmark, but does that mean if we choose survey, that would take up one of our 5 sources?
No, survey's not a source.
Okay.
Good question.
Well, unless you have anything else to say, unfortunately, Charlie isn't here because of prior commitments. So from last week, Charlie and Cyrene each picked 2 sources to fully read and annotate from the compiled research document. And that research document should be in the Teams chat if you look from the meeting doc from last week.
Do we have any more questions for Dr. Klein?
Oh yeah, anyone else? Sorry.
That's okay.
Okay, we can move on with our other business, probably independent of Dr. Klein. So,
Right.
Thank
Well,
you
thank
so
you
much for
very
doing
much.
that.
Yes, thank you. And I hope
joining
I
us.
hope this was helpful. And I will, like I said, I'll send you the PTK file. You don't have to use it, but you might find something there that's useful.
If we set up a table or something, I'm sure this will be really valuable in helping
Yeah.
students make posters and maybe
Yeah,
setting up
that's
some
kind of what I was
awareness
thinking.
campaign too.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you. I'll excuse myself, and thank you everyone for inviting me and including me. Have a great day.
Thanks so much.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Alright, I did get really good research survey questions.
Mhm.
I mean, I could read what I wrote down before we move on. Like, where have you heard about therapy? What was your past experience? What would you like to get out of? Well, have you heard about therapy? And what is your culture's perspective on therapy based off of her discussion? Um, so Cyrene, if you don't mind, if you have read the sources that you and Charlie selected, have you taken any notes? What's your thoughts on it? How can it help out with our HIA research?
Let me pull it up real quick.
No problem.
Mm.
I took notes too, Faith. Something you might want to ask them since we're saying how can alternative therapies change the story we tell about ourselves? Like, have you ever done an alternative therapy? Like, what do you do
Okay.
to alleviate stress, right? Do you sing?
Mhm.
You guys have all sorts of possibilities for this now because she just kind of blew your research wide open
Yeah.
as your teacher. So you can say, okay, well, we can research pet therapy, we can research movement therapy because you said, martial arts or something like that. We can do that as a stress relief project. Reading is what Robin's saying. I mean, it's about storytelling. So reading and writing your story is also very applicable here. So you guys get to decide your action next collectively.
All right.
And where your research wants, where you want to go with your research. So maybe, yes. Have you got your document yet, Cyrene?
Yep, I got like both texts pulled up.
Okay.
So I read the incremental validity of predicting well-being, and it basically divides the 4 categories to narrative variables like motivational, affective themes, themes of integrative and structural elements, which is like the structural side of the. And they use like different studies, like they collected like research participants for like sampled narratives from participants to basically basically to analyze them in like inclusion criteria like coded narratives, non-narrative, individual difference, and situational variables, and index of well-being, which is the research on the association between narrative therapy and well-being and as adopted. Yep, and all of that. So yeah, that's what I got for the first one. And the second one, I haven't started reading the second one actually, but I'll get to that
Okay.
I'll get to reading that as soon as I get off this meeting.
Okay, quick question. In the compiled research, can you like add just quick little blurbs about what you found?
Okay, I will do that.
Yeah, it's in this document too, so you don't have to go hunting around for it. That's the compiled research document that I just put up. Thank you guys. You guys are doing a great job. What comes out of this is this paper, a sample honors and action project. Like this is I don't think. Oh, it'll let me share my screen now, Faith. Hang on. Let me see if it'll can you guys see this? Sample honors and action project?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a sample of what this looks like. And what we're constructing for our soft deadline in 3 weeks, remember? So we have the sample honors and action project, which includes our research question, a summary of what we've researched, our research objectives, academic research into the honors study topic, 8 academic or expert sources that were most enlightening regarding multiple perspectives of the honors study topic theme. Summarize your project, the action component and the collaborative component. So the research end, which is what we're doing now, and the action end informed by the research. So we will lose a lot of points if our action is not informed by research. So I didn't mean to contradict you there, Faith, but that's like a big thing, is the research has
Yeah.
to dictate the action. That's where we lost literally all our points last year. So, but yeah, so you have to like, we were backwards because we're like, we're going to do this action and research after. It has to be the research first, and then what does the research tell us, and what should we do next? So describe the service or action components and the quantitative and qualitative outcomes of the project. So yeah, that's the way it is. This is what we're competing on, and it's difficult. So if you're not used to this, I can definitely help you like form the paper, the questions and stuff like that. I cannot write it for you. That's cheating, and you can get like the chapter, you can get in a lot of trouble for that. So they've had advisors have to step down for that before. So yeah, we can't write it for you. You guys have to write it. We can help you edit though. So okay, so if is Charlie gonna still be on the team like in a helpful
Yeah.
way? Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you're comfortable leading this, and we've got some great writers here. Deanna, your writing's beautiful. Cyrene, I've seen your writing before. It's awesome. Faith, I haven't yet seen your writing, but you know, I'm guessing, have you had English before?
Yeah.
So yeah, so if you need
I
help with the
mean,
writing, I'm here to help.
so far, if I'm taking notes, it's going to be jumbled, but then I organize them later. But I wrote down everything Dr. Whitmer was talking about.
Okay, I got notes from Dr. Whitmer too, and we can actually cite her interview. You've also recorded this document, so we can go through the recording and get all of her salient points there too.
Okay,
So,
and she'll email us, so.
and she'll email us as well. So, yeah, so we can cite her and we can check her citations. She can be one of our sources in interview with Dr. Robin Witmer-Kline. And we got 8 sources, so we got a little room to play with here. If we pick your favorites that we've chosen, because we've been doing research forever, so we've got compiled sources. Is anyone doing anything with the mimesis to language or fact to fiction article? I don't see anyone doing that. Faith, do you want to come up, see if you can find a few more sources? If you want to look at our sources and see if any of these are useful, can we assign you 2 of them? Would you be okay with that?
Okay.
Okay, so if you use, I'm going to share my screen again. I noticed just number 2 and number 3. I'm in this document. Could you take a look at the evolution of stories from mimesis to language and fact to fiction? And the narrative construction of reality?
Yeah, so the source is in the doc. I mean the link.
Yeah. Hang on. I'll get you the link. Hang on. Where is that little beastie? Yeah, the compiled research document.
Um,
Where did we put this? Where are our sources? I'll send you a link for the sources. The sources are, I know they're in the HIA folder, but I want to see if Charlie housed them somewhere else too.
um,
Share document. Moving forward. I think the sources actually are living in the Teams document, but I'll confirm that with Charlie.
alright.
Okay. But I mean, you can go in and these all came from the HCC databases anyway. So if you type that into the HCC database, you should be able to find that pretty easily.
Alright. Mm,
Oh, no, hang on. I think Charlie already has it. Nope, that's just the one. Okay. Yeah, I'll get the source. We'll send you the source list.
And before we move on with any technical the technical parts of the agenda, I just want to put a disclaimer for anyone who is here right now. Me and Charlie both agreed that next week, November, November, sorry, let me look at the calendar.
Next Friday's
Okay.
Halloween.
Okay. So, sorry, after that Friday, we're probably going to not have the meeting on November 7th because of the HCC annual donor recognition ceremony. So both the HIA and the college project will probably be canceled those days because me and Charlie kind of have to attend that ceremony and I think the advisors are okay with this.
We have to attend too. So
Okay.
my recommendation, because we've got a soft deadline of the 14th, is maybe we
Mhm.
meet earlier that week. Maybe can you meet after the PTK meeting on the 5th?
Okay. After PTK me on the 5th. Okay.
Okay. Are you guys okay to stay behind for a little while and meet that day? And Alex can join us that way too. Alex Olson is interested in helping us with the HIA project as well.
Mhm.
And he can't meet Fridays. So sorry, you don't need to see my calendar. I forgot I was moving on.
Meeting Wednesday, November 5th. Okay. So we can move both the HIA and the college project meetings, I believe. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that was the only concern I had to bring up. That was kind of off topic. What did you mean when you said you wanted to find some therapy specific or community college student specific sources?
Oh, we can talk about stressors that community college students face or problems that community college students face. So anxiety is a very common one. So we might be able to bring in a librarian next and find out, what are some common stressors to help us with our research that's very
Or
pointed now. And we can say, hey, could you help us? We found these basic sources. Can you help us find specific sources? And then we've got the best sources that we can have too, and help us cite them in APA format. So we can bring the librarians in for this next.
Hmm.
Does that sound okay?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, the goal is if we can get this mostly off your plate before Thanksgiving, and then we do a Saturday to write and finalize and compile the documents, a Saturday / wicked viewing. Yeah, so we'll do some writing / movie time, and like we'll do a low key day on Saturday to write these and put these all together during finals week. We will be in a much better shape to submit the hallmarks in January because we'll be mostly done. And actually we can submit our hallmark early if we want to. Okay. So yeah, I mean, we've been, I think, 2 or 3 years where people have been working right up to the deadline on hallmarks, and that leads to mistakes in my experience. So I think if we have a polished document way before then and can submit it, and you guys can be good and gone and go enjoy your break, and then we can take a last minute look in January and be like, okay, we're cool, or okay, we might have forgotten something, the document's going to be a lot better.
Yes. And to also go onto the personal timeline, after this meeting, I'm pretty sure we can say we completed week 4, onto week 5. So for anyone else so Deanna, if you're interested, maybe you could go out on your own and pick 2 sources that relate to community college student stressors and alternative therapies. And because of the cancellation of the meeting on November 7th, I would say by November 5th, we should all have our sources completely read and annotated to present at that meeting.
Okay, yeah, that sounds good.
Okay.
And was the meeting with Patty just on the college project or both projects?
That is on the college project, but we can probably pick a time with her. We should do that probably the next few days if we can. Like maybe we can do that over Teams, pick a time that works for everybody, and works with Patty. And yeah, we'll see what her calendar says, and then we can go from there. And then we can also email National with our ideas and see if they have any feedback for us as well. And I have the point of contact for that. And Jennifer Stanford is the the college project contact, and Susan Edwards is the HIA project contact. So we can email her as well. Sound good?
Yeah.
Are you speaking, Faith, at the donor recognition?
Not that I know. I mean, I just got a flyer in the mail.
I see.
If they make me speak, I don't know.
I'm
They'd asked you
also
by
attending,
they'd have
so
asked you by now. Yeah. Sometimes they ask students to speak, but they probably picked just like a couple to speak.
oh god,
Um,
yeah, yeah. I'm also attending if they make me speak. Oh, my God, I need to work on my public
You'd have
speaking.
heard by now if they were gonna Richard and all right, so theoretically our group is Faith, Charlie, Cyrene, Scott, who said he would help. Scott's been in a bad way, but he's getting better, I think. And things are going better. So I think we'll see Scott again before this project ends, and Deanna. So that's actually a really nice sized group, but we're not going to get everyone at the same time. So that always happens with these projects. So I'm sure Scott will help with the writing too. So if you're worried, I mean, if you're worried about the writing, I'm sure Scott's going to help with that too when he can join us back, and Alex too will help us as well. So many hands is going to make light work, and then we can go through as the Kristen and I can go through and help you with your edits and things like that as well. Kristen and I are both English teachers.
okay.
Okay. All right. Faith, did I get everything on my end? Do you have? I was back to your agenda. I'm sorry.
It's all right. Let me go back to the agenda. So Charlie did ask. You already gave your input on the You already gave your input on the plan about the annotations and the deadline, November 5th, for our compiled research. Um, Strengths. So back to the HIA program guide. So you already picked a theme, like it's complete, because Charlie last told me everyone was between themes 2 and 3.
It's predominantly themed to perspective shake stories, we think.
Okay. Theme 2. Okay. So So when you just gave me those two sources to read and annotate, there were no other sources that were already put on. So if anyone else wants to find their own resources, they would have to do that.
We have first we invented stories, then they changed us. So someone could take that one.
Deanna, if you would like to do that one, Alicia will send you the link to that source afterwards.
Yeah, sure, I'll do that. Or I
Okay, I'll
don't.
just,
Let's
it's
write
okay.
Deanna's name.
I'll just put your name next to it.
Yep. And would you put your name next to 2 and 3, Faith?
Yeah.
Okie doke.
Okay. So our
Just a sec, guys. I have I can send you, hang on, I'll send you the document with all of the sources that on our compiled research too, because that's right here.
okay.
Man, this was very well organized. So thank Charlie for compiling these notes because he's great at this stuff. So but it's the honors and compiled it's PTK 2526 honors and action notes. And this document looks like, let me go up here. And it's got all the current information. The sources are located at the bottom. And there's links to all the sources already. So I can break those up and send those to you individually if you'd like, or you can just get them right here. Oh, no, all of these don't have sources on them, but I'll show you how to get them. Sound good?
Yeah, I think I see my links.
Yep. So yeah, I think Scott, these are also these are all in the compiled research document too, I think at the bottom, but if they're, let me just double check that. Jesus. Yeah, this is our compiled research document. Let me put the sources in this document too, because that makes sense. So that's in your compiled research. Now, do you see that? Wait.
Let me see. The one that you highlighted?
The one where we just put all our names, I just put the sources in there too, so you can see that.
Okay.
So that should work. Sorry, there's a lot of documents, aren't there? I was a little befuddled last week when I joined the party because Charlie was clicking back and forth through all the documents, but they're all listed in as links in the HIA notes. There's the shared document, compiled research, and the Zoom meeting. I'm going to put those in my minutes too. So yeah, they're all in the PTK 2025-2026 honors and action notes. So
moving forward. So you said that you will try to have a librarian visit us at a future meeting, then that would be completely okay. LSC and library two completely different. Okay. Do you have an estimate date, like a week or?
it would probably be good since we're narrowing our sources. I'll see if I can get someone for Wednesday. Wednesday after the meeting would be good, right?
The 29th?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought we were hosting the scholarship because I thought we had two
Oh,
sessions.
you're right. Yeah. That won't work. Maybe, I mean the 5th.
5th. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, let's bring them in on the 5th.
Okay. All right. And that's all I can see to cover the pre-prepared meeting agenda. So to carry out the action event week of November 17th to the 20th, but staff may have their Thanksgiving meal this week.
10/27, or we should probably do it that week before finals. Is that the week before finals? Not the same time as the college project. This HIA should be the week before finals, probably, Faith, because that's the most impact with the stress relief.
Okay.
I think we talked about that last time.
I'm looking at the personal timeline document. So that's probably going to be in December, right?
The first week of December might give us a little more time because the writing's going to take a little while.
Okay. First week of December.
And also, if we need to get someone in, it gives us enough time to ask a person. Like, we can bring a person in. So if you want, like, if you end up deciding, like, oh, let's do dance therapy, let's do martial arts therapy, it gives us time to bring in someone who can do those things, right?
Yeah. Mm.
And also, it doesn't interfere with the college project too. So we talked about that in the meeting, I'm pretty sure.
Okay. I think I've covered everything for today's meeting. Source selection, everyone chose at least one source to go over. We met with Dr. Witmer-Kline and we had a discussion. You went over the sample HIA homework entry already. Our theme is theme 2. We talked about deadlines for research and when we're gonna host the HIA meeting, action, which is the first week of December. Asked her about internal narratives and therapies. Annotated document. Oh. So I forgot to mention this, but even though Charlie wasn't here, I didn't see he put an annotated document for the 2 sources that he read. So I'm just gonna copy and paste the link over.
Okay.
I'm downloading it as a PDF, but it should be in the Teams chat soon. Okay, so I have sent his annotated document in the Teams chat, not the Zoom chat. So please let me know if you can open it.
Okay, we've got that.
Okay, so I guess we can go over this.
I'm assuming no Halloween meeting, right, guys?
Halloween. That's
You
gonna
don't
be a
want to
big
meet on Halloween, do you? I totally forgive you. Halloween is like my favorite time. It's up to you. But that's what next Friday is, just so you know.
Okay. I'll ask Charlie about it, but I do believe that maybe we have to cancel that one.
To cancel.
Next week, the October Friday, the Halloween Friday meeting.
It is Halloween. Do you guys have plans at 10 o'clock on Halloween, or is it later?
No, I was just thinking of that, but
I mean, I can do a Halloween meeting, on Halloween at 10 o'clock. That's not a big deal, but get ready for those, trick or treaters that don't come here, and bring you guys all my extra candy. So that's what I usually
yay.
do.
Or you just put on a costume for the meeting. That'd be funny.
Oh, for Friday? Oh, yeah.
Do it.
Why don't we do it on Zoom though? Because it's easier on that Friday for Halloween if we're there from 10 to 11.
On Zoom?
Yeah, and then we'll do the
Yeah.
Wednesday. Yeah, because then we meet the next Wednesday anyway, and that'll be in person.
Okay, then we can. I mean, I don't mind because, like you said, it's 10 o'clock in the morning, but
Yeah, same. So that's fine.
so Alicia, did you have any input on what Charlie annotated? I mean, I skimmed through it a bit.
Only that it was good.
Okay.
So I'd like to hear from Charlie about what he thinks about it. But yeah, I mean, it's a do your if you do a synopsis, do it like his.
Uh,
Other things?
no. I think that was the very last thing in his prepared agenda for today.
All right.
It is 11:02. So thank you all for coming. Please let me know what I can do to improve future meetings. I'm sorry my computer glitched out. This is a terrible computer to host a Zoom meeting on. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, please let me or Charlie know, or even Alicia. Thank you for coming, and you guys have a great Friday.
Great work, guys. Talk to you later.
Thank you. Bye.